Hi everybody, it's Alisa Murray, and today we're in the Sweet Life Garden, and I want to talk to you guys about my blackberries. Last year and the year before, I didn't have this netting on them, and all the birds, which we have a bunch of birds out here in the garden, ate all these berries. And so this year I got real smart, and I want you to take a peek and look in here. Look at all these gorgeous blackberries that are ready to pick. And the key to it all is using this net so that they can't get there and get in there and eat them up. So I'm going to harvest these guys now, and then when we go to the Sweet Life Kitchen, I'm going to show you how to make a wonderful blackberry recipe. See you soon. Hi everybody, it's Alisa Murray again in the Sweet Life Kitchen, and today I'm going to show you how to make blackberry, lemon, and thyme jam. We just went to the garden yesterday and we picked the blackberries, and this year it's just been an incredible harvest. I got to tell you, I planted that blackberry bush probably 5 years ago, and a couple of years it would make a few and the birds would get most of it, and then last year it made a little bit more, and this year, my goodness, just look at that gorgeous bowl of fresh blackberries that I just picked. They're just beautiful. Last year I tried a recipe that my family really liked, and you know me, I'm an artist, so I always try to put different ingredients together, try to do different combinations. And one of the things that I thought would be kind of fun would be to do a thyme and lemon jam. And I made it with raspberries, and I think I mentioned before in another episode, raspberry and jalapeno jam. And so everybody just loves those combinations. I just try to think about what would really be good together. It's kind of like when I'm doing my cooking. I just put stuff in there and it turns out good. So it's just a different way of cooking, but my family tends to like it, and they keep asking for more. So nobody's starving at the Murray household, that's for sure. It's really easy to make jam. The jam that I like to make for just small batches are the kinds that you don't have to put in the pressure cooker. They're not going to need to be shelf stable. What you do is you just put together really some simple ingredients each time. It's sort of the same thing over and over again. You just alternate in what you're going to do in terms of your fruit or your vegetable. So today we're going to do it with the blackberry and the lemon, and I'll show you how to do it. I went to the garden earlier and I pulled some fresh thyme as well from the herb garden. So both of these guys have come from the garden, and oddly enough, we just planted a Meyer lemon tree. So although this is from the grocery store, hopefully it won't be too long before I'll be able to say that everything came from the Sweet Life Garden to the Sweet Life Kitchen. We're hoping for that anyway. The first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take about a half a cup. This is a full cup, but because I only have a little bit of blackberries, I'm going to do a half a cup of the apple cider vinegar, and I want to take 3 cups of sugar, rough. And I usually like to taste it too. So sometimes I might put 2.5, sometimes I might put 3. Depends too on your berries. Because as you well know, sometimes your berries are a little bit sour than sweet. So it just depends on your taste buds and what you want. So you get that there, and then what I want you to do is take 1 lemon, and I want the juice of 1 lemon. And the acidity for this particular jam recipe is actually coming from the apple cider vinegar, but I want that lemon flavor to come through. So that's why we're using a lemon. And it's just 1 lemon is fine. And you want just the juice of that. So it's a pretty good amount there, just from half, but I'm going to go ahead and use the full lemon. The children love for me to make lemon pound cake and lemon buttercream icing. And my Aunt Lona, who my mother and I were both named after, made the best lemon pound cake with lemon icing. For my birthday every year she would make that for me. And I don't know if you guys know, but the Sweet Life logo is done in purple. And it's because my Aunt Lona's favorite color was purple. And when we were growing up, we would always spend a lot of time with my grandparents in the mountains of North Carolina. And Aunt Lona had purple everything. She had a purple shirt, she had purple scarf, she had purple everything. And so I just remember lemon pound cake and her caramel icing. She had a caramel recipe she would make. When I went off to college, she'd send me care packages with the caramel candy. But purple, I can't ever look at the color purple without thinking about my Aunt Lona. And so that's one of the reasons why I made the logo for Living the Sweet Life in purple, was to honor her. It's just a little extra something that you didn't know. So what I want you to do is I want you to take the juice of a lemon and pour that in there. And then what I want you to do is let that cook down. So we're going to set that over here on the stove. We're going to melt that sugar. Be careful that you stir it quite a bit because you do not want it to burn. You want it to be real melted. And as it gets warmed up here just in a minute, once it gets where you can stir it around real good, I like to get it going before I put in my berries. With just a little bit of liquidity on there. And see how fast that went. Not very long at all. It doesn't take very long for that sugar to start getting dissolved. So, especially when you got the vinegar and the lemon in there. And so what I want to do now is I'm going to take those berries that I just picked, all of them. Look at Mr. Bunny Rabbit. Isn't he cute? I just love this bowl. One of my family members in North Carolina in the client base, she just loves this bowl too. She said, "Oh my gosh, Alisa, I really love that Bunny Rabbit bowl." All right, just like that. So we're going to set those blackberries in there to cook. And we're going to keep stirring them. You don't want that sugar to burn. You want to make sure you keep stirring it so it doesn't get brown. It just stays at a consistent temperature. And those berries are going to cook down. Be real pretty. I don't think there's anything better than some lemon and some blackberry. That combination just seems like it fits together like peanut butter and jelly. I never had it until I started making it, and then I started making it and I thought, oh my gosh, this is so good. But I usually have to buy those blackberries, and I'm just so thrilled this year to have that tree producing. It's crazy. You plant a tree and you have to wait years for it to do what it needs to do. And truthfully, the birds, I just love them. I have no problem feeding them too. The other day in the Sweet Life Garden, I looked up, I don't know if y'all guys watched that on my Instagram, I looked up in my parsley, and there were all these gorgeous caterpillars in that parsley, eating and eating and eating and eating. I didn't know they were eating, but they were eating. And I thought, oh, they're so cute. And I took a video of it and I posted it on Instagram. And then I looked them up and found out that they were the black swallow butterfly, which are those big butterflies that are blue and orange, and they're gorgeous. I thought, oh my heavens, how fantastic. We're going to have gorgeous blue butterflies in the garden. Y'all, I woke up the next morning and you know what happened to my parsley? They had almost eaten all of it up. So I thought, well, I only have a few options here. I can either go out there and squish them, which I was not going to do. Because y'all know me, if I find you and your house is outside, you get to stay alive. The only exception to that is a poisonous snake and an ant. If you bite me, or you can bite me, you're going to go live with baby Jesus. But I went out there and I thought, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do to make sure that I don't lose those beautiful butterflies, but I also don't let them eat up all my parsley? So you know what I did? I went and took that parsley plant, and I took one plant out of the garden and put it way far away from the garden in a different pot, and I picked every single one of those little caterpillars off and set them on that one parsley plant. And then I went back in and I neem oiled everything in the herb garden so they wouldn't go back over there. And I went back the next day, and that one parsley plant that they were sitting on, those caterpillars that were this big were big and fat. And almost all those curly leaves on that parsley were completely gone. And I thought, oh no, they're going to come over here to the other parsley. I just know they are. And sure enough, the next morning I went out there, and you know what? They had all left. They ate every bit of that parsley up. Every bit of that parsley up. But they were gone, and they didn't go over to the other parsley. So I'm hoping that they formed a chrysalis somewhere in the yard, and we're going to have beautiful butterflies here soon. I need to look up how long that takes to do that, but I just thought it was so neat. And then I thought, oh no, we're not going to have any parsley. So I had to figure out a way to sacrifice one plant. And actually what I did is I took that plant, now that they've all gone, and I put it back in the parsley bed. So hopefully it'll be okay. Hopefully it'll make some more leaves and it'll survive. It's still good and green. But it's one of those things. where you've got to decide if you're going to have a garden or if you're going to feed the wildlife. And this year I just really didn't want to give the birds all these berries. They are cooking down beautifully, guys. Now what I'm going to do, now that I've got them bubbling and they're starting to get a little bit squishy in there and macerating with the sugars and the citrus, I'm going to add in the pectin, which is 1 packet of pectin. And I'm going to add in a little bit of thyme. And, you know, I don't hardly measure, but if you were going to try to measure, I'd say that's probably a solid teaspoon. Just keep stirring. That water's turning purple, Aunt Mona. Oh, if they were still alive, we'd have so much fun these days. You know, when I was in my 20s, I was so busy, as all of us are, trying to figure it all out. Didn't have time to sit and sew or learn how to do all the things in the kitchen that I should have known how to do. Didn't want to do it. I was too busy trying to make money and think about school. And these days in the Sweet Life Garden and the Sweet Life Kitchen, I can't tell you how many days I'm out there working in that garden, and I just feel like they're talking to me. It's just so neat to have them with me, even though they've been gone a long time. It's funny how things from the garden and things from the kitchen bring back memories from your childhood. It's interesting still, we talk about it a lot in Martini Talks, how important those things really are. That's the most important thing really in life, in living your sweet life, is your family and the smells of your kitchen and just the wonderful things that you remember about friends and family and holidays and rituals. It's just a really, really neat thing to have. Smelling these blackberries makes me think about my grandmother's for sure. Now you see they're coming to that roaring boil, as Nana would say. See that roaring boil? I'm scared to pick that up and show you the roaring boil, but you can maybe see it. Let's see if I can tip it for you. You see that roaring boil? Ooh, look at there. That's some yummy looking blackberries. I'm going to turn that down and keep stirring. It's going to be some good jelly, guys. My goodness. Yum, yum. Ain't nothing better than homegrown berries, homegrown thyme, and a beautiful muffin or a biscuit with some homemade jam. There's not one thing better, I don't think. Maybe a kiss from your children or your honey. Look at this. This is just gorgeous, guys. Man. I love it. So pretty. Wowzer Weezer. Okay, I'm going to turn this off. And I'm going to get me a pot holder. Get Mr. Bunny out of here. Bring these guys over here. Look at that. You see that? That's good stuff right there. Yum, yum. Everything is incorporated. These berries are squishy. I'm going to use my wooden spoon and actually break them up on the sides of the bowl. Squish them because they're just basically disintegrating underneath that wooden spoon. And once I get all of those guys disintegrated, I'm going to go over to my jars that I have sterilized, and I told you guys about that in every episode. I do that. You've got to sterilize your jars. You've got to put them in hot water and your lids. You can reuse your jars, you know that, because it's glass, but you have to buy new lids every time that you do anything with the preserves or the canning. It's not safe not to. And this recipe is super simple because it goes straight to the refrigerator after it cools, and it's not going to need to go into the pressure cooker and be canned traditionally. This will last in the refrigerator for about 2 months. It never lasts that long, and the small batches especially. I've got family members asking for it before I've got more blackberries. And time, no pun on words. Time as in time to do it, and time as in time in the garden. That's a funny little gardener's thing. But it's just fast how quickly this stuff does get consumed because it is really good. Really, really good. The other thing that I've noticed is that a lot of times family members, especially the kiddos, like to put this over ice cream, vanilla ice cream. It's a great add-on if you're trying to just do something a little bit extra with a shortbread cookie. Oh my goodness, so good. Or a butter cookie and a little dollop of this once it's congealed, and you just take it out of the refrigerator and put it right on top of that ice cream. And if you really want to make it pretty, you can go out to the garden and pick some mint. We talked about that with the mint, and add a little mint on top too. It's really, really pretty. Makes a nice display if you're going to do like a little dinner party or a little tea party. All right, guys, let's see. All right, so now that I've got all that pretty much squished, because squishing is, they're still there, and you want a little bit there. You want to have that little pop from some of those little pops of the berry from the blackberries, but you don't need it to be big old huge berries in there either. So we're going to put these together, and let me see. I think the easiest way to do this actually is going to be to show you with a ladle, which is right here. That's probably the easiest. So that way you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to pour it in there. Like that. You know, the other day, whenever we made those gorgeous glass deco bars jars in the DIY segment, if you wanted to give these as gifts, you could go over to your arts and crafts room, and after these have cooled down and you've got them in the refrigerator and they've congealed, take them out for a minute so that there's a little bit of, there's no humidity on the glass, and put a pretty label on them. You could even hot glue like a gorgeous little flower like we did the other day. Maybe even a little blackberry or something. A pretty little lemon sticker. That would be nice. And you could give this as a gift. That would be gorgeous in like a little basket with, you know, some scones or some of those cookies we were talking about. Or if you have extra blackberries, some fresh blackberries to go along with it, just to show them, you know, a little bit of both. I love making presents for my friends, especially when it comes from my garden. Look at that, guys. Very, very perfect. Exactly 3 little tiny pint jars. I don't know how I measured that out correctly. I sure did. That's awesome. All right, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to grab the tops. I'm going to clean this up. You don't want this. That is so good. Oh my God, that is so good. I'll have the recipe below for you guys. It is so, so good. I'll have the recipe below for you guys to pick up in the bottom of the episode. And listen, if you got any ideas about what you think would be a cool combo, I'd love for you to put that in the comments. If you found any value in this, please do like and share and let people know about it, because making cool, funky combos with things in your jams and jellies is something I just love to do. I always like, you can go buy regular blackberry jam. Like, you can do that. But if you're going to make it, you're going to grow the tree, you're going to grow the thyme, you're going to spend the time doing it, why not create something a little bit different that you can put your signature on, and it can be something that's just yours, that your special friends know that it's something that you've made and that's come from your heart and from your mind, and it's just a really neat way of sharing your gifts as far as your creativity. I'm going to stick the tops of these on here, and I'm going to clean them up, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Hope you're having a sweet life. Take care.